All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Trauma Therapist Podcast with Guy McPherson. I am your guest host, Jenny Hughes, trauma therapist and founder of the Brave Trauma Therapist Collective. And I am so excited to be with you this week. Today, I am joined with my guest, Tawanna Woolfolk, a licensed clinical social worker, EMDR consultant in training, founder of Sacred Ground Institute and doula for the soul, and my dear friend, confidant, and guide. Welcome, Tawanna.
Damn it, you bring me to tears every time, friend. Hello, my dear Jenny, Guy, and guests and community.
Thank you so much for being with us, Tawanna, and for sharing this opportunity with me. We have so much to talk about. And you and I could talk for ages about each of these different things I'm going to ask you about. So we're going to do our best to keep it short.
You got it. Hopefully we'll come back for a part 2, maybe for 3.
Exactly. And I have a number of topics to bring up together today, but I really want to start by talking about safety. So you have been such an incredible teacher for me around the concept of safety and have taught me things above and beyond what any seminal works out there are. And it has had such a profound impact on my work as a trauma therapist, as someone who helps survivors of trauma and PTSD, who walks alongside them and also with fellow trauma therapists. And I can't unknow what I know now. And so I really want to know, just kind of from you and your brain and body, first of all, what's coming up as I share that, and then we can go from there.
Guy, don't get me. I'm going to try to be good with my expletives, but damn it. That's what comes out. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's going to be new, maybe for our audience, our dear community. What comes up for me is whoa, this got me way more than I expected. Whoa.
Yeah,
I'm just going to
take your
show up
time.
for it.
We have plenty of space and time, okay?
Attunement. Being seen, heard, felt, and understood. First it was Victory Frankl, then it was Miss Coleman, then it was Sheila Hubbard
Yeah.
Spittler, then it was Mary Lesser, who left this earth and her legacy this year. And then it was you. Who I just took a leap of faith and invited myself into your world. I just have this knack for disconnect. And it was a conversation about, literally, you were just like leading in with curiosity, wonder, and awe. I hadn't even taught you that yet, but you were already doing it as an embodied practice in terms of how you connected with me. And you were like, oh, you do that with your clients? I'll be honest with you. I think us therapists need to hear this. And it was like, I didn't tell you this, but I think I threw up in my mouth. Because here's the honest truth, my dear Jenny and our lovely audience. Until Jenny said that, I'm not even kidding you. I mean, at that point, it was like maybe 18 years I'd been in the field or so. Now I'm coming into my 22nd year. My clients have been my proof of concept, right?
Right.
So here I have the Dr. Jenny Hughes, okay? who says, you ever think about just doing something with this? Principles, just my things that I just, intuited. And she said, "Yep." And we're gonna start with Brave.
Yep.
So I think that's really what comes up for me is part of our origin story, but really a part of my origin story, which and maybe this is healing for me to still do, but I still have a lot of annihilation anxiety that comes up around the fact that I will never go down in the history books because I can't point to anything that I learned. I can't point to a cis white hetero male or female for that fact where I taught myself. And I always question my worth,
Hmm.
my professionalism, my value. But it's so dissonant because I have my soul babies who are my clients, right? Because I've chosen to not mother and father my own children. I've chosen to mother and father through healing. So my soul babies are like, when you're writing your book, when you're getting on the test stage, when are you opening this? When, like, you're really good at breaking down really heavy duty, like, you make me not
Yep.
feel stupid. They are my proof of concept.
So what
They
is it
are.
like for you to hold both of those true then, right? Of this
It's,
narrative you have of I'm never going to go down in the history books and all these people saying,
I'm
hello,
going down in their history books.
right?
And you're saying, I'm going down in your history books because you said
Exactly.
I taught you something. This is what comes up.
Yeah.
Just serpentining in awe and grief and anger, uncertainty.
Mhm.
As an autistic individual, large bodied individual who struggles with numbers and learning and moving through spaces and significant complex trauma
Mhm.
and also medical trauma, being a survivor of a high control group.
Yep.
We're holding all that. None of us are immune to this. We are all, right?
Yep.
And yet, um, what it means for Dr. Jenny Hughes to say, I see you, boo. I'm starting this new thing. Come along. And here we are.
And
That's it.
speaking of that part of our origin story, right? And this journey, I want to just build on what we're talking about. Please, please. And especially in terms of the history book. So first of all, it's like, who the fuck's history book are you talking about, right? Because there are so many.
Thank you.
And in my history book, I can't unknow the fact that if you had not reached out to me when I first started Brave, and we had not been brought together to develop the friendship that and the connection that we have, Brave would be so entirely different and in not good ways.
I mean, I honor that because that's not easy. I mean, thank you.
I
Like, that's
mean,
not easy to say.
yeah, so like for me, if I can just share with you a little bit more
Please, that would
about
be lovely.
what I imagine that would
That
have
would
looked
be really
like.
nourishing. Yeah, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I mean, you and I do a lot of work together around racial trauma, vicarious
Yes,
trauma. You
vicarious
have
trauma.
taught me
Yes.
and mentored me so much in what decolonizing even not just what it means, but like what it means and like what it feels like
Yes, I
and
felt that.
how it
Yes.
is actually
Yes.
experienced.
Embodied.
And if it
Yes.
weren't for all of those teachings and interactions, I just have this image of like, I keep talking about this, but like buttoned up little Brave, right? Like we would be like, oh, well, there's this box and there's that box and there's this other one, and we're just gonna stay in all our little boxes and all our little lanes.
Right?
And thank God it's not that way, because that just sounds awful.
Because look at our beautiful loves, our braves. Like, what?
Exactly, exactly. And so that also means that the work that you do, so you are not only a trauma therapist, you also provide advanced supervision and consultation. You do
Yes.
incredible embodied work with anyone that you come into contact
Anybody.
with.
Yes.
Um, and you are also influencing not just individuals, but groups, right? There is like this direct, like, drop in the pond ripple effect, but in so many places. And what was I listening to? Something recently. They were talking about Einstein, like, did this experiment where he put all of these stones on a ruler and he dropped them into a pond and he watched all of the rings come together, right? And I mean, I
Yes.
swear, Tawanna, like that is what is happening. The impact that you are having on this
Oh my
world, it's all of these rings that are coming together and expanding at the same time. And it's just so, so cool.
God.
And
Can I
drop.
share what came up for me? Yes. No, that's it. Because I need to bring in my soul baby's words,
Yeah.
quote unquote, from a dear therapist who has lived embodied experience with OCD, has an OCD therapist, but something was missing. Found a little me, said the other day, she said, "Oh, I get it, T. We're like a family, but like, I don't mean in that toxic positivity way. I mean, like, they were like, we are a part, like, I get it. We are in a solar system. I literally feel, oh, it's gonna make me choke. I feel like I have brothers and sisters. The way that you teach through storytelling, the interconnectedness, that like my healing is a gift that gives to the point where mama's coming into healing for a
Mhm.
second chance at mothering my dear client. How about that? They go, I couldn't imagine anybody else because I don't know if anyone else is going to own their own biases. Probably as a cis white person talking with my mama.
Yeah.
Right? That you said. So when you talk about the interconnectedness of those ripples and that's literally what and literally not even 48 hours later, another client saying the same thing. We're like the sun, the moon, and the stars, and we all like, wow, T, like, how did you? I didn't want to say, but they said like, did you do it? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
So that's what, again, they're my proof of concept, and it just aligns with what you shared, beautifully shared there. Curious what you hear in that, if that
Well,
resonates, if that,
what keeps coming up for me is just as we're thinking about these ripple effects, right?
yeah.
What is something that the trauma therapists who are listening to this, what is something, if they're inspired, what can they start doing in their practice with their dear clients? To be more in the room, to be more whatever it is, embodied, or to be more human. Sometimes we just need that invitation. Like, is there
Mm.
one major takeaway, one thing that you would want the listeners to just experiment with?
Oh boy, I had a feeling you were, I had a feeling you were going to ask some version of this. And I was like, T, are you going to do it? Are you going to say it? F it, I am. Don't know if we're going to have this opportunity again. So I don't know how this is going to land for you, for our dear listeners, but you asked me bravely. I'm going to answer bravely. And I'm not saying anyone has to adopt this, but you asked me. So I'm going to share it. And it's what I share with anybody that is brave enough to step into a joint communal space of healing and mutual aid and healthy interdependence. Have you been brave enough to sit with the dark shadow side and exile parts of yourself until the waves of repulsion and self hatred and internalized biases and all the isms have melted away and transformed into beautiful, integrated, anchored, loved, worthy parts of you that get to show themselves in the world. That is what my dear colleagues and friends can do. And this is not just for trauma therapists. I sat on a gender affirming providers panel a couple of weeks ago. I would say the same thing. Any of us, provide educators, our clergy, our men and women in uniform.
Mhm.
We can only take people, our loved ones, our partners, our children, the people that are looking up to us. We can only take them as far as we've gone to get and be with and like and love and equity and safety, the highest safety and honor when we get them back and we do our work.
Mhm.
And it can be done in tandem. We don't
Mhm.
go into exile and right and then come, here we go. No, as a dear supervisee said to me bravely, and it was the most loving thing anyone's ever said to me. She said, T, no, Mama T, it is scary how I just saw the reel you posted the other day on IG. And I said, go ahead, baby, say it. I know. I, I know. I've been waiting for someone to bravely call a thing a thing. She was like, whoa, it is scary, your transformation. She said,
Mhm.
wow, it's not even about the weight loss, but it's just like seeing like you shine. And the fact that like you didn't take down old content, you are just
Mhm.
to literally see. And she literally said, it's actually it's scary. I said, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That is why you just said why people don't heal, why people don't change. Because I look different.
Yep.
I have transformed literally so that
Literally.
the outside can match the inside. But
Mhm.
that's that. So I know that was a lot, but I think this will help make it more cellular for our dear community of listeners and viewers. Can you, in your version, tell me what you heard me say?
Yeah, it's more than just do your own work, right?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for saying that because
We
thank
hear
you.
that a lot.
And we
And I
weaponize
think
that
that
against each other.
depending on how it is delivered can feel very, very dangerous, right? And that is not
Got
what
it.
you're saying. What you're saying is
Thank you.
that in order to be the best person that we can for
And
others
that we want to be
and that we want
at
to
the core.
be,
Yes.
we deserve to have opportunities to be able to look
Oh,
at each of those different parts of ourselves
yes.
and not even, I don't think, to change them, but to
No.
acknowledge that they exist, to honor their
Be
purpose
with.
and the role that they play
Yes.
for us, so that when those parts interact with each other and then anyone else in our life, whether we're a trauma
Yes.
therapist or, like you said, whoever, in this
That's right. A
world,
municipal worker. It doesn't matter.
I was just thinking that I was like, the house
Right.
next door is under
Yes.
construction. I'm like, the guys that are working their butts off
That's
every
right.
day to
You
redo
better
the
believe it. You
house
better believe it.
so that when
Nobody's
we
immune.
come into contact with each other, we can just be human.
Literally. Literally. Because we already did the hardest thing that is literally, and as a reproductive health, specialist and just like just dedicating my lives to creating more ease and equity and removing oppression systems of oppression around right that
Right.
and especially around the intersectionality of behavioral health and medicine. We were born. It is literally it one of the hardest feats we could ever go through is breathing that first breath
Mhm.
upon birth. You're a mama, you know that. We already did the hardest thing, Ashe. That's it. What if we could really wrap our heads around that? That we literally, it is
Mhm.
a miracle that we are here.
Yeah.
Why the hell do we make it that much harder
Yeah.
for ourselves and each other?
Yep.
Like we literally already did. So we don't, there's no need to be judge, jury, defender, prosecutor, victim. All we get to do is bear witness,
Yeah.
honorable witness.
Yep.
That, that.
Yep. And I think that for that is the absolute number one takeaway for anyone listening to this,
Yes,
that
ma'am.
we have already done the most difficult thing in our
Like
lives.
we literally did.
And when we are able to really take that in and just acknowledge and honor it, that we then can bear witness, we can connect, we can be with each other.
Yeah, so when our dear clients, this is a little trauma speak, when they show up in the office and they do fidgeting and finding and attach cry behavior, which is that pre-verbal behavior, right? We have to communicate somehow, but we've constructed language called, oh, they're being resistant, they're trying to avoid, they're trying to deflect, they're trying to this. No,
Mhm.
they are fidgeting and finding and attached crying, right? So that might be constantly questioning you. They might be constantly questioning, is this going to work? Like, I'm going to fall to pieces. Like, what if I just fall? Remember,
Yeah.
that is all about, do I deserve a you? Do I deserve a Jenny to literally take joy and delight in showing up for a me? Am I worthy of a her? And am I
Mhm.
worthy of feeling better?
Yeah.
That is what is coming up. People aren't trying to evade. And I mean, yes, but so for survival reasons,
Right.
because we struggle. A good thing that doesn't happen for us literally, which is part of all of our small t trauma wounding, PS, are people stopping,
Mhm.
pausing, not being wedded to an agenda and an outcome, and just listening, even when there are no words, but helping to figure out other ways to communicate. That is why most of us are selectively mute and shrink.
Yep.
That's for part two, guy. but but that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what happens.
Yep. And honoring our time, right? I
Yes.
think that is actually a really beautiful connection to the resource that we want to share with everyone
Yes.
listening, right?
Yes. Oh,
So
so perfect. Yes.
Tawanna and I do a lot of work together around supporting therapists, helpers, healers, really anyone who wants to do the work in navigating and exploring racial trauma and vicarious trauma and the way that those two come together.
Yes.
And part of that is really being clear with ourselves about what it means to be anti-racist and anti-oppressive in all forms.
Mm.
And that's a really difficult thing to do if you have not sat with yourself first, if you haven't had people who can sit there with you too. And so Tawanna and I have developed a fillable Google workbook that is free to anyone to help walk you through some of the steps to creating your own anti-racism and anti-oppression in all forms statement. This can be something that you can use just for yourself. It doesn't have to be a big thing. If
No.
you run a business, a private practice, whatever it may be, it can be a really beautiful way to be proud and out loud about these
Oof.
things as well.
Mhm.
And to know that it's something that is dynamic and is going to be ever changing as you continue to grow and sit with these different shadow parts of
And it's
yourself.
meant to.
It is
Yes.
meant to,
Because it's
exactly.
embodied.
Yes. What else would you like to share about our workbook that's available to people for free?
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled for everyone that gets to be invited to this. And just to emphasize, it's meant to grow and change as we grow and change.
Absolutely. Yep.
I just want to thank you, my dear friend, and thank Guy for this amazing historical opportunity.
Mm. Thank you for sharing this space with me, and to Guy for allowing us this opportunity to share
Yes.
our work and our voices on
Yes.
such a beautiful
Mhm.
platform.
Yes. Thank you. And thank you for your service, Jenny. Thank you.
Mm. Thank you, Tawanna. For everyone listening, you can find our free anti-racism and anti-oppression in all forms statements workbook at braveproviders.com/anti-racism. We will link to this in the notes as well, and
Yes.
we will also link to both of our websites so that you can reach out to us and let us know what you think. Let us know what you need so that we can connect.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.